to Stories with Dice. This is Star Trek Magellan, a Star Trek Adventures 2nd Edition actual play podcast. If you're enjoying our actual plays, please subscribe to Stories with Dice so you'll never miss an episode. Don't forget to rate and review us. It really helps others discover the podcast. Follow us on social media to stay updated. You'll find the relevant links in the description of each episode. It is the early 22nd century, 4 years after the founding of the United Federation of Planets, 5 years since the end of the Earth-Romulan War. Starfleet has renewed their mission of peaceful exploration. But something has gone terribly wrong at Cradle Station, a research outpost on the edge of Federation space. The crew is dead, its lead scientist missing. The USS Magellan's mission? Unravel the mystery of Cradle Station and boldly go where no one has gone before. Hello, everyone. Okay, so we're going to start with some housekeeping. We're going to do some sort of basic character development. So in Star Trek Adventures, when you use your values, that's how your character can start to develop. None of you have reached a milestone yet. So a milestone would be, so for example, Dr. Travis invoked a value in a previous episode. If in tonight's episode, he invokes that same value and calls back to that moment where he invoked that value and makes some kind of connection between those two moments.
I think I used the good mystery as irresistible. I think that was what it was.
Yeah, so you would describe how that previous experience influences what's happening now, right? And that's how you gain a determination point, okay, in the game. And once you do that, your character has reached a milestone, and then you can do some character development. And then there are character arcs. We're not going to get to that right now, but Dr. Travis, Chief Engineer Rhodes, and Lieutenant Commander Maris all used values. And so none of you, again, have reached a milestone, but you do have the option, and again, it's optional, to do some basic development. So you can reduce one attribute by 1 and increase another one by 1. You can do the same thing to a department, or you can choose one of your focuses and replace it with a different focus. You can do that same thing to your talents if you want to. If one of your talents isn't really working for you, or one of your focuses is like, nah, that's not really what I imagined, you can change those, or you can help one of the supporting characters we've all been using, right? So, in their training, basically, right? So, and that means that you can do those above things that I just mentioned to one of the supporting characters.
Okay, cool. And you only get to do one of those things, right?
Correct.
You could essentially go, well, I'm not going to develop my character. I'm just going to develop that supporting character because they were quite integral to the story or whatever.
Right. And if you think about supporting characters, if you think about like Miles O'Brien from The Next Generation, in The Next Generation, he's a supporting character. He's not a main cast member. He's not in every episode. He's only in a couple, handful maybe. But then he moves over to Deep Space Nine and he becomes a main cast member, right? So he went from being a supporting character to a main character.
Next time they appear in a story is when something interesting happens.
Exactly, yes.
But we'll leave that until we decide who wants to turn up again. Maybe that was one shot. They were there once, they'll be in a wiki entry and never appear again in the series.
So if anyone wants to do any of those bits, we can move through that, or we can just move on to the episode. It's up to you guys.
I think it'd be quite interesting because I don't think I've seen or at least heard of a podcast or an AP or anything like that where they've done just a few tweaks. So it'd be quite cool to figure that out.
Might amend Denner, the engineer, give his attributes maybe a tweak.
Okay, sure.
Because I like my stats as they are at the moment.
Okay, so you're gonna tweak. Are you gonna tweak one of his attributes?
Well, he hasn't got any values, he hasn't got any talents, and he's only got 3 focuses, so not much amendment going on there. So it would be attribute or department. Let's have a look. He's got control of 8, daring of 9, fitness of 10, insight of 9, presence of 8, and a reason of 7. I don't believe they can go lower than 7, is it?
Correct. You can't go below 7, and you can't go above 11.
11. I might just take one of his insights and swap that for control. So take his insight down to 8 and take his control up to 9. Because he just averted a warp core, so that's pretty control relevant. There we go. So now he has a control of 9.
How about you, Ed?
Did use quite a lot of daring, so I thought maybe I might want to change insight down from 11 to 10, and then put my daring up from 9 to 10.
Carmelo, what about you?
I think I'll just leave it for the moment. I mean, I had an idea of maybe... I was going to do almost the same thing, but I think I'll just leave it for the moment.
Okay, no problem. We opened on a starless void. The Magellan hangs in the dark, endless sea, like a stone dropped into water. Ripples spread outward, with each ripple another Magellan surfaces, fractured reflections barely holding together. Beside each one, a shuttlepod, the Faliero, tumbles end over end, caught in the same impossible current. The ships blur at the edges, misaligned and flickering as if out of phase with themselves. Transmissions breaking up across realities. Inside, on the bridge, the hull groans under the strain. Sparks arc from consoles. With each movement of the crew, ghostly after images trail behind them. Their voices are delayed, echoing out of sync. On the main viewer, the stars slowly begin to return. The after images and echo of voices dies away as the Magellan and the Faliero exit the quantum fissure. And now the scene changes to a montage of repair crews patching hull breaches, technicians fixing damaged circuitry, and the captain at his desk in his ready room recording his log.
Log supplemental. We've cleared the quantum fissure, nearly 50 light years from our last recorded position. The ship's taking serious damage. The Faliero is secure, her crew accounted for. Repairs are underway, but we are sparrows out here in uncharted space. Light of the current situation, there's a matter I can't ignore. Chief Engineer Rhodes disobeyed orders. I can't let that slide. Not now. Not out here. So far from home.
So as you finish your log, you hear the door chime, and there's someone waiting for permission to enter your ready room.
I've got the latest damage reports here, Captain, for you.
Thank you very much. Can you sit down, please?
Sure. He tries to, wipe off the sort of, dirt from his hands before he, sits down in the chair, because he's just covered in, grease and stuff. We're not going anywhere anytime soon. The main reactor's probably going to be offline for at least another day or so. We're not going anywhere until the deflector's fixed as well. Sensor arrays are shot. Computer circuits burnt out. Multiple hull breaches on multiple decks. The shield generator is shot as well. But it might be quicker to just reinitialize maybe the hull plating, because the shields are a bit unfamiliar to the crew per se. It's not technology we're necessarily... It's going to take us a while probably to figure that out.
And the ship will be ready to move on.
A bare minimum? We can maybe get the deflector and the warp drive kind of running in a day or so, but we're not going to be pushing any high warp for a while until we can get decent repairs done, especially with the structural integrity still a bit iffy. We do have limited fabrication facilities here on the ship, so if we get the raw materials, we could probably fabricate some kind of spares. It won't be necessarily good as the stuff out of the shipyard, but it might do the job.
So that, because I didn't tell you here only for the report of repairs. Well, to congratulate you for what you did in the city. The way you handled yourself and you managed to land the city. That was impressive, I have to say. And I will be recommending you for a condecoration for that. I think it's something out of the ordinary and you save a lot of people.
That's nice of you to say, but if you don't mind me saying, I think the out of the ordinary was more what you were dealing with on the planet side, by the sounds of it.
We well did our best. I think everyone under a lot of stress. Complicated situation. I also hear that you were helping to some degree to minimize the damages of the contamination of deuterium and other toxic fumes and waste. again, that was very good initiative on your side. I expect my officers to do the utmost to protect the crew, but also the civilians that may might need to help. So for that, again, I think you need to be commended. I appreciate your independence and you fast.
Right now, Rhodes is kind of looking a bit nervous because this is all very nice and all, but this doesn't feel like it's the crux of the conversation. Then he doesn't get the captain as being the sort of man who's like, oh, let me tell you how great you are. I'm wonderful and marvelous. So he's waiting for the penny to drop.
As you might be remembering, all this is good, and as I said, I will be commending you. But I also expect my officers to follow orders, understand that you have this side of you that likes to take initiative, which, as I said before, I appreciate. But I was aware of the risk I was running into by jumping into the teletransporter. Do you understand?
I can understand what you're saying, but I can't understand why you had to do it.
I need to protect my crew.
That's very well, but to run a site-to-site transporter requires use of both of our transporters to transfer the pattern signal into the second one down to it. In the same time it would have taken you to transport you one place to the other, I could have transported 2 security men who were right here on the ship, straight there.
Question on my decision making here.
I am just pointing out the logic of that. Plus, the transporters had been running for 3 hours straight with barely minimum downtime, had already, as you were very aware, had a catastrophic failure literally moments before. I understand what you're saying, as an officer must carry out the orders of the captain. However, I am chief engineer first and officer second. If you don't like that, we can start this out now. Do I go back to work as chief engineer or do I go to the brig?
I understand that there might be a risk, and I appreciate if you point them out to me. But if I ask you to do something, do it. Is that okay for you? Is that a problem between us? I wouldn't want to lose a good officer 50 light years away from home. Just sit there looking at you. And if there is silence, I will just keep silent.
Rhodes will just stare at you back and then just be like, understood, Captain. Now, should I go back to duties or down to the brig?
What's your job?
Yes, I will get back to my job. And he gets up and leaves.
So you guys step out onto the bridge. So the bridge hums with activity. There are technicians moving between consoles, repairing damaged stations, and rerouting power from non-essential systems to get the consoles back up and running. There's chatter from damage report teams crackling through the internal comms. And then suddenly there's a chime and a subtle but unmistakable tone from the communication station. And the comms officer stiffens and she starts tapping the console, and she says, "Captain, there's a message coming through from the main computer." And so her screen, you step over to her console here, and you can see that her screen locks into a priority overlay, and across the interface, a message flashes: "Red condition protocol triggered. Contingency file now deploying." And then a file starts unpacking itself. Lines of encoded data are moving across her screen, and then you see the insignia of Starfleet Command, and then the voice of the computer says, "This document is intended for immediate release upon verified trans-fissure displacement. Contingency parameters met. Phase 2 initiated. Captain's eyes only. Dissemination of this information to USS Magellan senior staff is at Captain's discretion as operational circumstances require."
Is to send it to my ready room.
Okay, and so your communications officer sends the information to your ready room. And she tells you that according to the metadata, the file was embedded in your systems, buried in a routine update before you left Starbase 12 for Cradle Station.
It's like they almost knew something might happen.
Okay, so the captain steps back into the ready room. The door slides shut behind him, and he accesses the message. It's from Commodore Travis, commander of Starbase 12. This file is intended for the commanding officer of the USS Magellan. If you are receiving this, Project Cradle Phase 2 has been activated. You are operating outside standard Federation contact range. A full briefing follows. Project Cradle represents Starfleet's most advanced initiative to investigate the possible origins of sentient life in the galaxy. Based on data recovered from Cradle Station and Corella 4 and an analysis of ancient Saurian star maps, an origin point has been identified, the Boreth system, located beyond the edge of charted space. Preliminary research suggests this location may be the cradle of galactic intelligence. Dr. Korby has theorized that the so-called proto-mentis, an ancient, possibly pre-biological intelligence, is a progenitor species or unifying force behind the evolution of sentient life across the Milky Way. DNA fragments recovered by the team at Cradle Station and artifacts found on Corella 4, combined with theoretical models and quantum resonance data, have lent significant credibility to these theories. Dr. Korby, currently unaccounted for following a field incident, made substantial breakthroughs suggesting that all intelligent species in the galaxy may share a common genetic and cognitive ancestry derived from the proto-mentis. Following his disappearance during the incident at Cradle Station, Dr. Korby has reestablished communications. Utilizing a recovered Orion spacefold device, he successfully generated a controlled quantum fissure. This fissure may function as a communications link, or potentially as a near-instantaneous transit conduit to Boreth or other remote star systems. In his last transmission, Korby reported initiating Phase 2 of Project Cradle, attempted contact with a proto-mentis construct. Moments after this report, the deuterium mining facility on Corella 4 transmitted a distress call, claiming they were under attack. I confirmed with Starfleet Command that the USS Magellan was already en route to respond. I am sorry, Captain, but I was also ordered to not brief you on these matters until now. Dr. Korby theorized that the proto-mentis did not merely evolve, but awakened, by tapping into a kind of universal sentience. If this is true, learning to interact with that fabric of awareness could redefine the foundations of science, diplomacy, and consciousness itself. Project Cradle remains classified at the highest level. Any unauthorized dissemination of this document will result in immediate disciplinary review under Starfleet Regulation 98.6b. Good luck, Captain. And the message ends.
Quickly check what is this Boreth system, respective to where we are.
You don't have any star maps on the Magellan that reference the star system?
We have, let's see, CSO, Commander Maris. Might be wrong.
On my way, Captain.
Once you enter, then I ask you to sit down and how are you feeling, Commander Maris?
Kind of like recovering from a bad hangover. Being pulled through that quantum fissure, experiencing those alternate realities, it had a lot of a pressurized effect on my cortex. So, but I'm fine for the moment. I'm getting over it.
I'll share something with you, but you will need to keep it between you and me. Is that clear?
Very clear, Captain, yes.
Please do listen very attentively. Let me know what you think. I basically replay the thing when I'm just holding my hands and looking through the window while I let Commander Maris just listen. When it's over, I turn around and I look at you.
That's somewhat unexpected. What are your initial thoughts yourself, Captain? Because I feel that in our current situation, we have no available data on this sector of space that would help us to pinpoint any relevant star system.
Precisely, that's what I asked you. I read the room. As you can understand, I need to continue forward. We have been requested to find this origin of this Boreth system, whatever it is, and to try to look further into the situation with this species, which these kind of entities that live between spaces, as I understand. And you have been in connection with them, right?
Yeah, in a rather painful way, we had a connection.
What do you talk about these creatures, beings, sentient beings? Are they a danger to us? What is the connection of these beings to the monsters we encounter in Corella?
Well, are they a danger to us? Yes.
So I wonder if by looking for them and for what we know, we're putting the whole Federation in danger. What would your take on this? And please speak freely.
I think it's very possible that the Federation could be in danger. We need to establish, first of all, well, if we think about what happened, they actually, in a way, helped us move away from where we were, sending us 50,000 light years across the galaxy. Might not necessarily be help that we think it is, but they helped us to leave that particular area and protected us from a renegade group. So there could be some leeway for negotiation, for participation and cooperation. I'm not exactly sure how far that would go, but it's possible that it's there. They did spare us from those renegades.
That's my feeling too. Those are my thoughts, and I think we need to tread carefully. I mean, we are in an exploration mission and an investigation and research and scientific mission, and I think we're going to follow orders, obviously, and push through. But I'm going to request of you, with available tools that you might have, and please do request anything you might need, try to triangulate the position of this forest system. But please keep it confidential, and just report back as soon as you get any information that might be relevant.
Yes, Captain.
Okay, and at that moment, the intercom on your desk beeps, and it's your communications officer. She says, Captain, I'm sorry for the interruption. We're picking up a distress beacon on a Starfleet frequency, but that's got to be a malfunction because we don't have any ships out this far.
How far from us?
Approximately 1 astronomical unit away. At full impulse, we could be at that location in 26 minutes.
So then I'll request to our navigation and helm to do so. And please do verify with navigation and helm with the engineer if this is okay to push the ship.
Understood, sir.
And I will just go to my, to the captain chair.
Okay, so let's catch up with Dr. Travis.
So, Dr. Travis has basically been spending most of his time with head nurse Shax, going through all the injuries, going through all the work that's happened, because obviously we've still got people to kind of treat after the incidents. So we've managed to kind of triage everyone. We've managed to get all the kind of like various treatments engaged and sort of like on board with everybody. And I'm sort of like slowly kind of with Shax getting rid of the sort of like minor injuries and given all the sort of like doses of medication out to the medium injuries, and the severe injuries we've kind of either kept on observation, and we've kind of informed department heads that these people aren't going to be working. And I guess Shax and I will probably be sitting at the desk in med bay, having just finished off all the kind of like paperwork that comes with all of that.
You also have Kaval in sickbay, because remember, his phaser overloaded in his hand, so he was badly wounded, and this is his first chance to get medical care. So you've taken care of his injury. He's recovering in sickbay.
So once all that's kind of done, and we've kind of taken stock of realizing that we've kind of like shot out quite a far distance away from known space, taking stock of whatever medical equipment we have, drugs, etc. And then at that point, I realized that I'm sitting down with a cup of tea and realized that my arm is still in a sling. My head is still injured and bandaged, and actually, I probably need treatment.
Yeah, Shax is like, sir, why don't you let me take a look at all that for you? You should get in the bio bed and let's get you properly looked over.
Yeah. So, in which case, he'll finally do that moment of sort of surrendering himself to just getting treated himself.
Your mother, by the way, is on the bridge helping out.
I don't want to see my mother.
I just want to be counting for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to be left alone for just 5 minutes of peace and quiet. I think that's pretty much all that Scott Travis wants.
Okay. And Mr. Rhodes, when you left the bridge, where did you head to?
You know what? I might go to the sickbay first.
Okay.
Because I'm going to need a little something to keep me going over the next couple of days.
Oh, a little pick-me-up.
Some coffee and some Benazine, probably.
Okay, so you come into sickbay and you see Chief Engineer Travis on a bio bed, see Commander Kaval on another bio bed, and Nurse Shax tending to both of them. And Shax turns around and says, Chief Engineer, Do you need some assistance? Is there something the matter?
Yeah, nothing major. Just, all the repair work, we're going to be running like 24 hours. So I was just wondering if you had anything that could keep me going for a couple of days.
Am I to understand that you're asking for a stimulant?
Yep, if that's what you want to call it.
But coffee won't do?
No, we're going to need something pretty strong. I've already been up about 24 hours already.
Well, why don't you get some rest and let your damage control teams and your engineering teams do their jobs? And tomorrow, after a good night's rest, you can resume your duties.
I'll look over to Scott and just like repeatedly being like, come on, man, do me a solid.
Travis basically opens one eye and kind of goes, that seems like pretty good advice, Steve.
All right. Speaking of, have you decided what's going to happen to Pog yet?
Yeah, he's still in the morgue, the ship's morgue.
We might... I don't know. It depends how long we can kind of hang on to him really in stasis until either we get back home or alternatively we can hold the ceremony here. But I guess we don't know where here is yet, right? So we might want to
Captain said something about 50 light years away from our edge of space.
Right, okay.
But I don't know which 50 light years direction we are from anywhere. So, north, south, east, west sort of thing, relatively speaking, on the star map.
Sure. I think they call that spinwood, don't they? All right. Well, you get some rest. I need to get some rest. Shax needs to get some rest.
Well, maybe go the Gavin down at the mess has something he can whip up. Thanks for your help anyway.
I recommend some food, maybe a stiff drink, and then about 6 hours of sleep.
Steve leaves, but he's not going to do that.
Okay.
Why would he?
Coffee enema is.
We're going to switch to the bridge for a moment, unless you wanted to go somewhere particular, Doug.
Let me know when we start going to Impulse, because he will have things to say about that.
Yes, you're at Impulse, yeah. You noticed that you're at Impulse.
As soon as he notices, he's like, what the heck are they doing up there? And gets on to, message the bridge.
It's to check first navigation and help with engineering. I didn't mention that.
So someone obviously asks me before they go to Impulse. Is that what you're saying, Tony?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yep, understood. Yeah, so while you're in sickbay talking to the doctor and talking to Shax, the intercom whistles, and it's the helmsman calling for you, Rhodes.
Rhodes here.
We're going to need to go to full impulse. Just wanted to check in with the engineering deck.
Why? We're barely holding together as it is.
We're picking up a Starfleet distress beacon, and
if I thought it would do any good, I would say we put out the distress beacon. We're in no position to go help anyone. The whole thing might fall apart at maximum impulse. Those cracks aren't going to get any smaller, and the deflector's barely working, so we might just ram into a rock.
Do you suggest we go slower than full impulse, Chief Engineer?
Definitely slower than full impulse. Unless you can avoid every single tiny bit of matter that's out there. Especially with no shields or the hull platings.
What speed do you suggest, Chief?
I wouldn't say going past 1/3.
1/3 impulse. That's the best you can do? I'll tell the captain.
Not until we can get more structural repairs, but he said to prioritize the warp drive.
Understood. So you're going 1/3 impulse, so it takes you a little longer than 26 minutes to reach the coordinates of the distress beacon. Commander Travis has moved over to the science station after Lev Maris exited the bridge. She is a science officer, so she's fully qualified to run those systems. So Commander Travis tells you, Captain, that she's run a sensor sweep. She's picked up a shuttlepod, 2 human life signs, and 1 Tellarite. One of the humans appears to be deceased.
Will we get the name or the tag of the shuttle?
Sure. We're punching it up on the main viewer now, maximum magnification. And so you can see the shuttle pod sort of drifting in space. It's the Faliero. But the Faliero is in your shuttle bay.
Contact shuttle bay. Do we have the Faliero right there?
Shuttle bay here. Aye, sir. Faliero and Akana are all accounted for, sir. We've got repair crews working on the Faliero. She'll be in tip-top shape in another day or two. And your communications officer tells you she's been trying to hail the shuttle pod, but there's no answer. likely their communication systems are down along with most of their other systems. They appear to be operating on minimum life support.
I will quickly call Spectralus. So now, do I have to tell you need to rescue him from Shuttle Bay? Can you please move into the Shuttle Bay area while we bring them in, please?
I open my eye, get up. Thanks for the pain meds, and then just kind of pick up my stuff and make my way down to the shuttle bay.
Before you go down, I will also send Matt Demmer, which is our security officer now. And I will ask him also to get 4 people and ready non-lethal measures. So I really stress this: we're in a known space. We're bringing a pod inside the ship, so we must be very cautious about what's going on.
Okay, so Dr. Travis, yes. you get to the shuttle bay. You've got a security team with you. They've brought the shuttle pod aboard. It's the Faliero. It says Faliero right on the side of it. It's got the Magellan's registry number, NCC 020, on the side of it as well. And the security team opens up the pod, and inside you see your navigator, Jankum Pog, alive and well, despite the fact that you put his corpse in the morgue. You also see Dr. Korby coming out of the shuttle pod, and Pog sort of motions back at the shuttle pod and says, "Sorry, Doc, Chief Engineer Rhodes didn't make it."
Sorry, what? I'll step on board and make my way to the deceased Chief Engineer Rhodes.
He has severe burns all over his body.
And I will check to see that it's him. I'll kind of, if we have like a DNA scanner to make sure that it is the same crew member to stop.
Yep. You want to give me a roll?
Right. Okay. So what would you like? Reasoning and medicine?
Yes.
Yeah. Makes sense. Anything particular you want me to add? It's not going to have a focus. I think it's just going to be ye old standard 2 dice. Any complication range?
No, sir.
That is, I believe they say, a success.
Okay, so that was a difficulty 0 task, so you've generated some momentum, first momentum of the episode.
Woohoo!
Yep, so your tricorder readings verify that he died of severe burns and fatal deuterium poisoning.
Right.
The DNA is a match. You'll have to do an autopsy on him, perhaps even do some medical scans on the other 2 to sort of get a clear understanding of what's going on. You'll need more than just your tricorder, to dig a little deeper.
And I'll do the same thing with Pogue. Presumably the same thing comes up. And as I'm about to contact the captain, I take a step away from them. Sir, have Pogue here and Steve Rhodes. Steve Rhodes is dead, and Pogue is alive, and Dr. Korby is here. I don't really understand what's happened, but considering all the kind of like hoo-ha and malarkey that's going on, do we think that Chief Engineer Rhodes is the real Chief Engineer Rhodes? Did we want to get someone to escort him so that whoever that is doesn't do any damage to anything?
Well, I'm going to the break now. Okay.
And equally, what about Pogue? Because Pogue's dead in my morgue, but I've got him here on board the ship.
Escort both of the alive personnel to a secure area on the ship. And please ask 2 people from security, handle blank, to guard these 2 people. They cannot leave the location until I go there.
Okay, it's weird shit, Captain. Mike, can I have a word?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The captain's asked if we can hold Pogue and Korby here, and can you do a person-to-person con to someone you trust to go and get Steve Rhodes and bring him to a secure location?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I don't want to be the captain today.
By the way, you remember distinctly Dr. Korby being shot by the alien entity. There's no wound or there's no singe mark on his clothing. He's perfectly fine. No injuries at all. Mr. Rhodes, where are you heading after that conversation you had with the helmsman about going to Impulse?
Well, that would have been like an hour plus ago, right? Because we were traveling
where did you end up?
Well, back to engineering. So if the captain hasn't changed his mind, yeah, he'll be working on the hull breaches, let's say. So he's probably somewhere with welding tools.
Okay. So you're with your team, one of your teams, fixing some hull breaches near main engineering, let's say. When a security detail, you've been there for like an hour, maybe a little more, patching some breaches. Security detail arrives. They go into main engineering. They walk right by you. They don't even bat an eye.
I'm wearing like a welding mask, so they probably can't see me.
Right, exactly. They walk by you. They go into main engineering. They're an armed security detail. And then they come back out, and there's one of your engineers sort of points over to where you are, and they come over and say, Sir, we're going to have to ask you to come with us.
Unless they specifically say, like, Mr. Rhodes, he's going to carry on because he's busy welding something with the mask. So unless they actually physically tap him or whatever, because, welding torches can be quite loud.
Yep. So he'll tap you on the shoulder.
He'll flip up the mask and turn off the torch. Be like, yes, is any of the named ones, is it?
No, these are just some random security people.
Yes, we're very busy here. Can I do something for you?
Yes, you're going to have to come with us. Captain has asked us to put you in a secure location until he can speak to you.
The captain's changed his mind. Right. I didn't think he'd be that petty, but... All right. Dinner? Yes. You're in charge while I'm away. Yes, sir. And, right. To the brig? I know the way.
No, sir, we're not going to the brig. We're taking you to your quarters, and we're going to remain outside the doors to keep you secure until the captain tells us otherwise.
I'd rather go to the brig if we're going to do this properly.
Sir, we're just following orders. We're not going to the brig.
Did he say I had to be taken to my quarters?
He said to take you to a secure location. We figured...
Then there's nothing more secure than the brig. Let's go.
Okay, sir.
He's not like the captain away with this nicey dice. Oh, you get to be locked in the thing. It's no, you locked your chief engineer in the brig because you were petty. Because he did something to you.
Okay, sir. Let's go to the brig. Have it your way. So they escort you to the brig, and Administrator Phillips smirks as they put you into the cell next to her, and then they step outside, and she says, oh, well, that didn't take long.
It turns out the captain doesn't like it when you don't do what he says.
Well, he is the captain.
Has anyone been telling you what's been going on?
No.
Well, we're going to have a nice conversation just now, and I will proceed to fill her in on what happened since last time we spoke, which is probably going to be a bit earth-shattering and very upsetting for her.
Yes. Okay. Dr. Travis, were you taking the body of Rhodes to sickbay for an autopsy, or were you waiting for the captain?
No, he's waiting for me.
I was waiting for the captain. I will have zipped him up and got him ready to be transported, but I will literally have Dr. Korby sitting down in the shuttle pod along with Pogue, and then we've got Blank basically standing over both of them and me trying to make very bad small talk.
So the captain, you arrive in the shuttle bay. You've got the security detail there. You see Dr. Travis. A shuttle pod door is open, and two individuals are sitting there, and there's a body bag on the deck.
I check, are we alone? Nobody else from the crew is around.
Just the security and the doctor, yeah.
I will ask the security to go to the door and to order.
Yes, sir.
I will get close to Travis. Anything weird to report?
Nothing weird. That's what's weird. It's as if Pogue hadn't died, and we've got two roads. We've got two Pogues.
But you also know that in order to really answer these questions in depth, you're going to have to take them to sick bay.
Yeah, I can't do anything else about that. But so, it's really bizarre, Captain. I don't think I've ever seen it or have read about it, or I'm stumped.
Yeah, and Pogue is the one that died, right?
Yes.
We have an interesting displacement here. Let's try to question them and find what was the last thing they remember. So we'll straighten up and get close to Pogue and Dr. Korby. Nice to see you here, Dr. Korby. And you tell me what happened since we last spoke.
I'm sorry, I've never met you before in my life. And may I ask, Captain, he looks at your rank for a second. May I ask, Captain, what is the meaning of holding us here? Where is Commodore Travis?
Starbase 12.
Impossible. Starbase 12 was destroyed.
What?
Wait a second. And I stopped you right there. Well, is that your name, right? Where were you, lad? Are you part of the crew of Magellan?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Navigator.
Who's your captain?
Well, Commodore Travis.
Where is Where is the ship now?
Isn't this the Magellan?
Where were you last time you saw the ship?
We were on Corella 4. Chief engineer and I were trying to put out a deuterium fires at Cressida City. Things got a little haywire after that. We got word that Starbase 12 was under attack.
Captain, maybe it'd be good if we took them to a better surroundings, made some tea, coffee, had a drink, had them looked over. You know, I mean, call me crazy, but a good mystery is very irresistible. And this is pretty irresistible to me. I feel like a bit like a Sherlock Holmes trying to figure out what to do with this. So maybe if I instead of us interrogate them, perhaps maybe, Captain, we just have a conversation in a very relaxed atmosphere. Also, I think we might need to go and speak to Chief Engineer Rhodes.
Okay, so you want them to go to sickbay?
Yeah, so absolutely they go to sickbay. I'll let Shax know that they're coming and just say be prepared for a surprise. Because I think Shax will probably be able to handle it. And then we will go to see Chief Engineer Rhodes.
I would recommend that perhaps we have the body around. I would like to see how Chief Engineer.
No, absolutely not, Captain. That will traumatize him. I don't think we should do that. It's not a recommendation, Captain.
As far as I'm aware, I mean, I had a discussion with Chief Engineer Rhodes a few hours ago, and he's ours. He's our Chief Engineer. What I'm wondering is, who is this one?
Well, according to the DNA and everything else, I mean, I'd have to do more tests, but this is Chief Engineer Rhodes as well. And I don't really want our Chief Engineer Rhodes or the other alive Chief Engineer Rhodes to see the dead one, because it'll just be a bit traumatic, and we can kind of cross that bridge later on. So I think we just go and see Steve and figure out what to do next.
Very well.
In that moment, there's this low frequency hum that starts building. You're not sure where it's coming from. And then suddenly the lights flicker, and then everything around you elongates for like a heartbeat. Some lights blow out, and then there's this lurch for a second. You almost lose your footing, and then everything resolves to normal again. And you can hear on the intercom, you can hear your comms officer asking for all decks, all departments, provide damage report immediately. And then you hear, this is Astrometrics. We report a shift of 2.3 light years in less than a second. No known propulsion.
Crap.
So you go down to the brig, and there you see Administrator Phillips, and in the cell next to her,
Having a good old chat.
your chief engineer having a good old chat, yes.
Can you do a checkup first? Make sure that everything's all right.
Sure. Hey, Steve.
And you brought a witness this time. Is this about the impulse thing? I didn't really disobey your orders. I made a suggestion, the navigator accepted it.
Hey, Steve. Just hold fire for a minute, and I will check Steve as well.
Okay.
Do you want me to do a separate roll, or?
It's a difficulty 0 task. If you want to do it, you can. You don't have to.
I want Ed to fail the rule and then be like, oh, he's quite clearly the double. Space him.
All right, I can do that.
He's a
Let's have a laugh. Well, unfortunately for you, I got one success.
Okay.
Did not answer your questions.
You have a momentum. Yeah, so
Great.
there's nothing wrong with him, you know? He's the same old...
Stubborn.
There's nothing physically wrong with him, let's put it that way. He's the same old Rhodes that he was last time you checked him out.
I will ask Chief Engineer Rhodes, please step out of the brig, and I will ask the security detail to open it. We
Okay.
need to talk. Something has happened.
Okay. Now, Steve's getting a vibe it's quite serious, so...
Administrator Phillips is like poking her head around, being like, hello, Captain. You mind letting me know what the hell is going on? When is somebody going to come down here and let me out?
I will just turn around and ask the security detail to bring Rhodes to his room, and we'll all go there.
And she's like yelling at you guys as you leave the brig and the door closes.
She doesn't like you, Captain, does she?
Did she react to the whole me filling her in? Was it?
She was basically putting all the blame squarely at the foot of your Andorian captain. If a human was in command of the Magellan, none of this would have happened. Pog would still be alive. Pog wouldn't even be on the ship. He shouldn't have been on the ship anyway.
Is she relatively happy that we managed to save the deuterium and the city?
Yes.
So that was the whole reason she's the administrator.
Yes.
Well, I'm on her good side-ish then.
Yeah, and it was, no thanks to the captain. He didn't help you at all saving her deuterium tanks. That was all you. If you had listened to him, she'd lost everything because he doesn't care about humans.
Well, apart from the human part, she's not completely incorrect about all those other statements. I don't think the reasoning was because he's not human. He had other reasoning, but yes, he did not care about the other stuff.
So you're in the chief engineer's quarters. The door closes behind you.
The security unit stays outside. Well, the situation has arrived. Something very strange. Everything points out that somehow we have recovered another Faliero with 3 people on board. This tells me that there has been some weird stuff going on with time and space, which I still cannot understand, but we need to make the most of it, and that's why Dr. Travis was checking on you, just to make sure that everything is all right. How did you feel when you went through the anomaly?
It's kind of, sort of, hard to explain. Kind of like an outer body experience, almost. I was there, but also I wasn't there, and I was somewhere else as well, and feeling stretched, and that. But then suddenly everything snapped back in, and we were next to the Magellan out here.
I understand. So nothing besides the weirdness of going through such an anomaly, and this perhaps traveling through a wormhole or something like this. Nothing else. Okay.
There was some minor hallucinations I think people had. They said they saw things, the other engineers.
Dr. Travis, would you mind filling him in?
Yes, sir. No problem. Steve, have a seat.
Okay.
Here. Drink this, mate. I don't have to tell you this, but I put my hand on your shoulder. You're dead, or at least a body that is similar to you has been brought aboard that's dead. On the plus side, we also have a Pogue who is not dead.
That's great to hear.
So it's very strange that you seem to have swapped one for the other, but it's weird. It's weird. I've done some initial checks, and clearly somehow you've been split into multiple persons, the same. I don't know how it would work. Really, we should have the lieutenant commander down to probably figure all this out. But I probably should do some tests on yourself, your other self, Pogue, the other Pogue, and of course, we've also had Korby turn up as well.
Korby. Oh, he was the Cradle Station guy, wasn't he?
Yeah. And he's not dead. So it's very odd, but I'm going to need to run some tests. So I'm probably going to need to have you come to the med bay to subject yourself to a bunch of prodding and poking.
I'm going to be frank with you. I know this is a big interesting mystery at the moment and that sort of thing, but the Magellan's barely holding together as it is. We're not going to be getting anywhere anytime soon unless we put in some real graft and fixing her up. I don't think solving this nice sort of mystery is a priority right now.
Captain, I think we all need to have a bit of a rest, and we all need to sort of take half a day and reorganize ourselves and not do anything. That's if we can, Captain. If things don't happen.
I think we need to fix the ship. That's what we need to do.
I agree. But we also need to take some time so that everyone can be in the right place, mentally, physically, so we can do the best we can. But we're not going to be able to do that unless we take some time to sort ourselves out.
We'll do as you say, Dr. Travis. Lieutenant Rhodes, you're going to take half a day under the supervision of Dr. Travis to make sure that you are rested, that there is no consequences of going through this. I don't think there is any complication, but we're going to be on the precaution side. And then as soon as you are recovered and you have rested, you'll go back to fixing the ship.
Is that an order, Captain?
I'm following the suggestions of our medical doctor. So, yes.
Is that an order, Captain?
Yes, it's an order.
Very well.
Question.
Yeah.
Ed, are you having your medical staff perform the scans and the autopsy, or are they waiting for you to return?
They're probably waiting for me to return because I want to make sure that I get it done.
Got it. Okay. Just want to make sure I know what's going on.
I'm going to go to the intercom, buzz it,
Okay.
and be like, Denner,
Dana here.
I'm going to be stuck in the medical bay for about half a day. Can you send me up some reports as you get them every hour?
Yes, sir. You can count on us.
Road's out. Right, Scott, let's go. Get this over with.
Sure, I'll get it done as quick as I can.
Okay, so you guys are heading back to the sick bay. Carmelo, sorry we haven't gotten to you in a while. You are in... So here's a cool thing. You can either be in your quarters if you want, but there's a cool thing where you can spend 2 momentum or threat. You don't have any momentum at the moment, to create any laboratory that you need. So for example, you could like spend 2 threat, or give me 2 threat, or spend 2 momentum to like create a quantum physics lab, or to create a biology lab, or whatever you need in the given moment. So that's just something to think about. So you can be in a lab, you can be in your quarters. That's fine. You'd let me know where you are.
Hey, I think it's a great idea to create a physics lab. So let's do it.
Excellent. So you're in the quantum physics lab. Why don't you give me a reason and science task?
Yep. Okay.
I see you have a focus in quantum mechanics. That can certainly apply. As you are studying the sensor scans you took of the quantum fissure, the effects that it had on the ship, and everything that's happened so far. And your difficulty is going to be 2. You're going to need 2 successes.
Okay, here we go. 2 dice.
Excellent. Okay. So you've been studying sensor logs and all of the data that's been accumulated so far. Your working theory is that the Magellan is quantum locked with a Magellan from an alternate universe.
So that essentially means that the ship is in 2 places at once, or exchanging places back and forth with another Magellan.
Exactly. The 2 Magellans are quantum entangled with one another, so when one moves, you're constantly swapping places. And the longer the lock persists, the more strain it places on the fabric between those 2 universes, and there is a rising risk of quantum collapse, where one of those realities may overwrite or destroy the other.
To get this information to the captain.
And as you think that to yourself, the captain walks into the quantum physics lab.
I was just coming to see you.
Well, something just happened.
And I don't think I'm surprised to hear you say that. Tell me what just happened, and I'll tell you what I think I know.
We just recovered a shuttle called Faliero, like ours, exactly like ours, containing 3 bodies. 1 dead body of Chief Engineer Rhodes, 1 alive body of Felsman Fogg, and Dr. Korby. They are right now being checked out by Dr. Travis. Let me tell you, we are quite confused about this.
Yeah, I am definitely not surprised to hear you say that. What's happened, Captain, is that the ship is quantum entangled with another Magellan in another reality. We are essentially, every time one ship moves, swapping places.
Is the reason that we had a displacement a few minutes ago?
Yes, and the problem is that the strain upon us being quantum entangled will have a detriment effect upon the barrier. Either there's a strong possibility that one of the realities will break down completely.
Do we avoid that?
Unknown at this time, but I'll keep working on it.
If there were the people recover in that case, how do we send them back to the reality? Are we now in the reality? Can we actually check in which reality we are? Is there any way that you can compare the atoms or the fabric of the universe to compare with ours? Do we have any recording of such a thing?
Well, we can take any recent scans we've made since that anomaly just hit and compare them to the previous scans before it happened to see if there's any shift or change, so we know which reality we're actually in, if that's possible.
Yeah. That would be, I would say that probably could be the best, and perhaps what we can do, that makes me think that we can put back what that we just recovered, if this is a reality, and hoping that they will be collected by their own Magellan when we shift back.
It's possible. The only thing I'm not so sure about at the moment is when these displacements are going to take place.
Well, for me, the importance is to know in which universe we are. So please try to see if you can make any comparisons to understand if we are in our universe or in their universe. And then obviously try to disentangle ourselves. But first, I think we need to send them back somehow or put them back.
Yeah, Carmel, you know, because you have quantum physics as a focus, you know that all matter has a unique quantum signature that cannot be altered. So that would be a way to determine where if these people belong in your universe or not, right? You would check them for that a unique quantum signature. It should match, and if it doesn't, then they belong to a parallel quantum reality.
Excellent. Okay, I'm going to call to Scott.
Yeah, Scott here.
Hey, Scotty, you want to do me a favor?
Depends what the favor is.
I'd like you to check the quantum signatures on the people you pulled off the second Faliero and compare them to the other ones, the originals, the ones we think are the originals.
Okay, sure, I can do that. I'll have to modify some of my medical equipment, but that shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, is there anything I'm particularly looking for, or are you...
We are in sort of a situation where we are interposing ourselves in another quantum universe, switching places essentially with another Magellan. At the moment, I can't determine when these switches take place. I'm not sure how random they are, or if they're actually on a regular cycle. First thing we need to do is determine
sure,
who is who belongs to us, and who belongs to the other.
Okay, I can do that.
Great, fantastic. Thanks a lot. Talk to you later.
So let's go to the med bay. Your medical scans, this is not something you need to roll for unless you want to. Again, it's difficulty 0. Full medical workups on Dr. Korby and Jankum, and that itself is an odd task since you've got his corpse in the ship's morgue. Both of these gentlemen appear to be in good health, though Jankum does show signs of mild smoke inhalation. Their blood work returned anomalous, fluctuating biochemical markers, exhibiting an irregular phase variance at the subatomic level. The lab technicians flagged those results and recommended referral to the chief science officer for further analysis. But since he already spoke to you, so you do the analysis that he recommended that you do, and that reveals that their cellular RNA is out of sync with normal matter, and you compare that to Jankum in your corp in your morgue.
Guess that's harder because he's dead, right?
Well, the cellular RNA is still
there.
Still
okay.
there.
I guess he hasn't died recently. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He's on ice, right?
Yep.
So they don't match.
Okay. So I'll run my signature against them as a sort of like way to compare it.
Yep.
So I'll try and match my signature, their signature, so I can essentially divide between the two and go, they belong to a different universe and these belong to our universe.
Exactly. So the navigator in your morgue, he belongs to your universe. His quantum signature matches yours. The two gentlemen that you picked up from this duplicate Faliero, they do not. They belong to another quantum reality. And so you move on to the autopsy of Chief Engineer Rhodes. You ask Shax to hand you the osteometric sequencer.
Oh,
he lifts it from a tray, places it in your hand, and when you look up, something is wrong. It's not Shax standing there. It's a Vulcan woman. You've never seen her before, but then the sensation begins to slip away, and you do know her. Tillin is her name. She's already prepping the next instrument, but you still can't shake the memory of Shax, a Denobulan, your head nurse, his voice, his laugh. You remember him clearly, but he isn't there. And you're starting to wonder if he never was there.
God. I look over at Tillin and go, I don't suppose you know a Shax, do you?
Excuse me, sir.
A Nurse Shax? Ever met?
I'm afraid there is no Nurse Shax aboard the Magellan, Doctor. Are you feeling all right?
I'm fine. I probably shouldn't have asked the Vulcan. And I'll kind of shake my head and, thanks. And I'll take the instrument and I'll continue to do the autopsy.
The memory of Shax starts to fade from your mind. Let's move to the captain in the lab with Lev Maris. As the Magellan lurches again, the lights flicker, reality folds in on itself. The ship goes to red alert, and then a message crackles over the internal comms. Captain, please report to the bridge immediately.
I'm going to go to the bridge with the captain.
The two of you take the nearest turbolift up to the bridge. On the main viewer, you see a dense debris field. Massive hull fragments drift slowly across the screen. Commander Travis, the doctor's mother, reports from the science station. She's confirmed your position. You are at Varka 3, inside the neutral zone, near the Romulan side of the border. You are nearly 60 light years from your previous location. Suddenly, there's a violent explosion off the starboard bow. The deck jolts hard. The Army officer on duty reports that the Magellan has just struck a mine. Then, the communications officer says, Captain, we're being hailed. Audio only. She opens the channel. Unidentified Earth vessel, you are in violation of treaty. Withdraw immediately or be fired upon.